Yeah, so my name is Milad Behrouzi. Um, I'm currently living in Canada. Originally, I was born in Munich, Germany, and I immigrated here when I was around 7. So I've been here almost 20 years. Um, my passion has always been nature, my first love. Um, I think I was born with the trait. I don't think I developed it because I have painting from when I was, I think, 3, where I drew tropical trees and I didn't even know what it was. And I would tell my mom, I want to go here. And eventually I realized as I got older, I found out about the Amazon rainforest. And then it was always my dream to go there. So yeah, I've always loved nature. Um, my background is my educational background is in psychology and human resource management, but I have been working mostly in business and real estate for the past 5+ years, I would say. So, um, yeah, that's sort of my educational and occupational background. Um, I recently started making camping videos. It was totally not intentional. Um, I had a I had sort of a health scare last year where there was a chance that I may have had cancer, and I had to wait around 6 months, 6+ months or so to get my result. So in that time, I just didn't know. I was waiting for the test results, and I just had a lot of thoughts about what I want to do with my life and what life really means. And um, yeah, I had never been winter camping, so I thought, and this is middle of COVID, like the worst restrictions. So there aren't really too many options to go and explore out like places outside of the country that I wanted to. So I um I decided to book a winter camping trip because I'd camped in every season, but I never done winter. So I thought that was a cool experience that I would want to have. Um, and yeah, I went and I figured, you know what, like just that feeling of unknown of like not knowing whether or not I was going to have cancer or not. I figured I might as well just record this trip because maybe I was thinking if I could leave it as a sort of memory um, in the worst case. Now, I knew I was most likely going to be fine, but again, I just wanted to have a proper memory and just the experience. So I ended up just going with my brother Ali, and we went and yeah, we made the video. Didn't really think much of it. I thought it was cool. I just posted it, and then um, it ended up getting like 1,000 views in the first 8 or 9 days. And I was very shocked by this because one, I didn't really promote, well, actually, I didn't promote it. I just posted it on my Instagram once, and I don't really have much of a following there. There's a couple hundred people, and I knew most people wouldn't care anyways, but I just posted it for myself. And so I was confused because I checked the stats, the analytics, and I saw all these views are coming from people who I don't know. And I didn't promote this, so how are they like? Why are they watching this hour-long video of me and Ali just in the middle of the woods just talking? It wasn't really it. If you go back and watch it, the videography is not great at all. It's just raw, like recording of what we're doing. Editing is not good. But I mean, it was cool. And so I was like, okay, maybe there's an opportunity. I didn't really think too much, but then a little time went by, and I thought, okay, I really liked winter camping. Let me go again. So then that developed, and then I went, and then I went again, and then I kept making videos, and then my one friend, he told me, he said, if you're going to be doing this, take it seriously because you're pretty good at it, and you're not even doing it seriously. You're just doing it for fun. So treat it as a business. And that sort of shifted my perspective on what I'm doing, because I figured I'm gonna go camping anyways. So I mean, long story short, I ended up getting my result actually 2 days before we went on our winter camping trip. So doctor said I'm okay. It is a problem, but it's not lethal, so I'll be fine. Essentially. Yeah. So as far as my first solo trip, right? So my first solo trip um happened in July of last year. Yes, July. And I had been wanting to camp in a thunderstorm really badly, and I knew no one else wanted to come with me. So I said, okay, well, the only way I'm going to make this happen is to go alone. Um, and I hadn't done solo camping before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I also hadn't really watched too many videos at that point of other people doing it. I'd seen some, but not nearly as much as I've seen now. So I finally found a day where there was a thunderstorm. Um, and just my luck, by the time I got there, the weather report had completely changed to just sunny all day. So I got maybe about 30 seconds of rain. So the reason I wanted to camp in a thunderstorm was I wanted to experience nature at its harshest. And how and just like I just wanted to experience it. I don't know. After that health scare, I just really wanted to experience not just everything that I can, but I wanted to experience like the boundaries, like the limits, the things that people are fear, or the things that most people would think is insane or crazy. I wanted to seek those things out to show that not only is it not crazy, but you can grow from this, you can learn from this, and you can overcome whatever fears you may have by pushing yourself. Um, so, and I think also, again, just I have experience in horrible weather as a very young kid. I have one story that I remember vividly because um, it was raining heavily. So I ended up not going to school that day. I think I was in about grade 5 or 4, maybe 9, 10 years old. And I spent the whole, even though it was a storm outside, I spent the whole day going into my backyard, collecting willow tree leaves that had fallen because of the storm. And I built a shelter in my backyard out of these willow tree leaves. And my mom was just watching from the window, like, this kid is insane. But for me, I was having the best time of my life. So again, I knew it's not going to be the scariest, and that's ultimately why I went to um, seek out a thunderstorm. And I also, side note, I thought it would look really cool on film. So I got there, I was really excited, and I noticed that the sky was clearing up. So right off the bat, I was like, well, I'm not going to get the experience I wanted, or I had hoped for, I had planned for, but I'm here and I have to make do with what I have. So right off the bat, I felt like a little, I guess, not frustrated, but a little disappointed. And so, yeah, so another thing was, okay, how am I going to film this? Because I didn't know like how to create a solo atmosphere, and what to film. So that was another thing. And then I started my hike through the forest to get to the site. Um, the hike was pretty simple terrain. It wasn't that long of a hike, so I knew I wouldn't get too tired. Um, when I got to the site, I spent some time just trying to figure out, okay, um, how can I not only create my camp to the most optimal for myself and my experience here, but also in terms of filming, because I always have to keep that in mind. So it's not just, okay, you can do anything and then it's fine. You have to be very organized and calculated if you want it to turn out well on film. The experience is going to be fun no matter what, but the filming always adds another layer to it. So my emotions were pretty excited, to be honest, the whole time. I felt very one with my site and my surroundings. Um, I felt very happy. Um, and I felt almost a sense of like a new power, like that I hadn't experienced before, because um, people don't most people don't think about doing something like camping on their own. Even to this day, people ask me, why do you go on your own? Don't you get bored? And I'd say no, to be honest. It like I kind of prefer going alone the most, because I can fully focus on the nature, which is what you're going for. Camping is to be in nature. Um, Now, don't get me wrong, I love camping with other people also, but it's just different. It's a different experience, and it's a whole different atmosphere when you're alone. So again, I had a new sense of power, and being able to know, okay, I can. So I started doing my tasks. So setting up, that felt pretty quick. I got that done. I said, okay, how am I gonna get my firewood now? I started hiking, looking around for deadwood. I found a great tree not too far from my camp. And then when I took that tree down, it felt great. I had to carry it back to my camp. That was really exciting. Just taking the wood, splitting it, processing it, everything. Um, just a lot of just excitement and happiness. Um, and I just, yeah, and then the rest of the time I spent just relaxing. I did a little bit of cooking, I did some reading, and I did a lot of reflection on, I wouldn't even just say reflection. I had a lot of ideas just flowing to me about, okay, when's the next time I can do this? Right away, I hadn't even left the campsite. I was still there, and I was thinking about, okay, how am I going to do this again? Where am I going to go? Oh, here's a great spot that I know. I'm going to do this here. Oh, I can't. And then I can't wait till winter. Then I can do some in winter. So yeah, a lot of excitement. I think excitement would probably be the one emotion that was overwhelming during my first solo trip. Yes. So I would say that the what you're describing always occurs to me when I'm in water. Water is the one element that always makes those emotions of healing arise. I've always thought that water is a healer. Prime example is, not every time, but if something's wrong with you physically, emotionally, mentally, and you don't feel well, take a shower, and I promise you, you will feel better, even if it's just slightly. Or while the time you are in the shower, you will be feeling better than when you're not in the shower. I just think that water has healing properties to it, and I don't think it's a coincidence that more than half of the entire human body is made up of water. Um, I think it's 60%, something like that. 50, it's either 51 or 60%. I know it's more than half. Um, and yeah, so there isn't just one pinpointed example, but I think the first one that comes to mind is on my fourth trip. I did the first night with my girlfriend, and the second night I did solo. So she sorry, the day I did solo, um I went and I swam in the water, and just relaxed, and the sunset in that spot is unreal. And just looking out, I felt like I was being not just healed, but again, it was that sense of a new power coming into me, a new strength. So I guess healing is sort of like that. So, but yeah, anytime in water, I feel very healed. Um, there are multiple trips, and it doesn't necessarily have to be um, in the water physically. Even when I've been on a boat, just on the lake, no boat's not moving. It's just, again, it's just the presence of water is definitely the thing that I've felt healing from. There are two favorite parts, I would say. Maybe one is a little bit more, but my favorite part is when I'm done everything. So I've set up my camp. I've finished cooking. I've ate my food. I've finished filming all of my scenes, you can call it, and I'm just able to relax next to the fire and sit. That is when I do my true introspection and just uh, like sort of being one with nature, because I don't have to think about anything else. When I throughout the rest of the day, from the moment I wake up, or even it actually, I have a trip tomorrow, so even from tonight, I usually, the day before my trips, it's very hard for me to sleep because I'm so excited. So um so it starts from that moment the night before to the moment where I'm done my final shot after I've cooked and ate. It's nonstop thinking. You don't have too much time when you're filming. You don't have too much time to relax, and that's one thing that I've kind of tried to find a balance of, because it's been taking away from my trips, where in the beginning it wasn't about the filming, it was just about the trip, and the filming came secondary. Now I find myself doing the opposite, and I don't like it. I really don't like it, because I didn't I didn't start this journey for views or money or anything like that. Not even, it wasn't even in my realm. But when you see success, it kind of um it changes you, whether you, and I'm trying to change back, or at least find a balance. But yeah, that's probably my favorite part, is when um I'm just relaxing and before I head to sleep, and I can just relax and just reflect on where I am, and who I am, not just where I am, who I am. The second favorite part is when my trip is done and I'm hiking out. It's very overjoyous to reflect on your trip, and you think that was an amazing experience. Every time, it's always the same. So those are the two best for me. Yeah, so this is a tough question because it keeps changing, but I gotta say winter. Now, fall is beautiful. Fall is visually striking, but I have to say it's winter, because going out in winter, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's an adventure. You can walk from the car to the tree in front of you and sit down for 30 minutes, and it's going to be 10 times more intense than if you did that in any other season. Nobody likes the cold. Okay, maybe some people like the cold, but the cold makes everything, every task more difficult. I like winter because it's like a challenge. Everything is a challenge. Everything is harder than it would have been if it wasn't winter. Um, so everything just is so much more satisfying. Making a fire, finding the wood, carrying the wood, hiking in is easily 2 times harder than any other season. And people think you have a sled and it's easier, but when the snow is deep, it doesn't. If anything, it makes it harder, because you have the pack on your back, you have the sled you're carrying, and then you also, and this is something that I don't think many people actively realize, is you have to carry your tripod with your camera on it everywhere. And the shots of walking in any season, you just walk back. But when you have a sled attached to you, it's not easy to turn around, walk, come back, and like, it's a lot of work. So that's why I love winter, because everything you do is a challenge, and everything you complete is more satisfying than it would have been had it not been winter. And every trip I complete in the winter, I truly feel like I can do anything. I know that sounds insane, but I just think if I have slept with nothing in minus 20 degrees Everyone else I know is in their homes with the heater on, under their nice warm sheets. I'm in the middle of nowhere with snow dropping on top of me, minus 20, and I'm fine. You know, I've done it. I keep doing it. And it really just, it reminds me that every time I have doubts about something, that you can do it. The human is possible of anything. You just have to go out there and try. So winter is the answer. Because I don't think I'm not as skilled or even as close to as skilled as I want to be in bushcraft and understanding the land, and understanding how to self-sustain in all sense of the word, whether that be finding something edible that's not fish, because people think that's usually the number one thing. I have no hunting experience, so that's another thing that I want to learn. And again, I can do those things in other seasons as well, but I think that it's sort of like, I'll make this comparison. It's kind of like playing a video game on the hardest mode. If you start off on the hardest mode, the rest of the levels or the rest of the difficulties, you're going to finish so easily, and you're going to just fly through them. So if I am able to do the things that I want to do at the hardest level, which is winter, because it's the most challenging, then when summer comes, it's a breeze. Spring, fall, no problem, right? So I think that's what's pushing me to continue going. But also, I just love it. Like, it's just peace and solitude when you look around and everything is white. I compare it to heaven. I don't know. For me, I've always pictured heaven with white. I'm sure that's socially constructed, but when you think about heaven, you think, or at least me, I think white. So when you look around, like, it's like, where you don't get that in the city. You don't get that anywhere unless you're in the middle of nowhere and there's trees and snow. So the challenge and becoming better, so growing as a woodsman as well as just a person, and also just the peace and solitude of like the beauty of winter. And I know another thing that I've learned through my comments, which I didn't really think about, is a lot of people on Earth don't even see snow their whole life. They only see it through a screen. So it just adds another level of gratefulness for me to not take it for granted and actually embrace it, as opposed to complain about it. So yeah, that's why I keep going. Yeah, so I think that's probably my number one asked question amongst friends and family is, what about the bears? Aren't you scared of the bears? What if a bear finds you? Or wolves? What if wolves find you? Well, this is what I'll say about the wildlife. We're pretty blessed in Canada. Now, if you go to BC, it's a little bit different because they have grizzlies, much more grizzlies. Ontario, not so much. They don't have any grizzlies. There are black, some brown bear. Not to say that black bear aren't dangerous. Of course, all bears in general are dangerous to a degree. However, I would much rather be. That's funny because I actually had this question asked of me by my girlfriend's mom today. She said, like, aren't you scared of like the animals? And I said, the only thing I'm actually scared of is humans, because humans are unpredictable and they make irrational decisions. Animals are fairly easy to predict. They don't really want to eat you. They don't want to kill you, even when they're starving. I don't know if you know this, but the majority of all bear attacks, fatal bear attacks, the human body is perfectly intact, like intact as in the sense that they're dead, but they're not eaten. Bears don't want to eat humans, right? So, and they're the only real threat. What I use, I don't ever bring a gun. I don't have my gun license. I don't really plan on getting it. Maybe some point down the far future, but I don't really, I'm more of just trust nature in the sense that just be careful, be aware. I do always bring bear spray with me. So I know that's non-lethal to the bear, and 99.1% of all bear attacks in North America where the person has had a bear spray with them have resulted in no deaths and only 2 minor injuries. So I just followed the statistics and I know I'm going to be fine. I have more chance of breaking my leg and hitting my head on a rock than being hurt by a bear, right? So other than bears, there aren't really anything dangerous. Maybe a moose in mating season. And also like a moose is only going to charge you if you threaten it. If you see a moose, you just slowly back away and leave. He'll leave you alone. He'll continue on his way. And then wolves are the only one that are a little bit dangerous in my opinion, because they move in packs. So usually they're going to be more than one if you do come across one, but most wolves are so far up north. I've only gone that far up north a couple of times and I've had no problem. But in general, wildlife don't want to come near humans. They only will come near humans if they are on the brink of death from starvation. Otherwise, they don't want anything to do with you because they know you're the alpha in the ecosystem. So yeah, I don't fear wildlife. And I think animals are very intuitive and can sense your fear anyways. So if you're scared, they'll know. So there's no point of having fear, in my opinion. I don't have any specific plans to grow my channel. I want it to happen organically as it already has. I haven't promoted my videos anywhere. I don't ask for likes or comments or subscriptions. I never started with that as my goal, and I'm staying by that like in perpetuity. I don't really want my goal to be around monetization. I don't, if that comes with organic growth, then God bless it. But I don't, that is not my goal. My goal is just like I've written in my bio, my channel bio, and that is I just want to create shared adventure experiences. I want to go on my adventures because I love them and I get the opportunity to share them with people through my channel. And really beyond that, that's it. Now, a little bit more detail in terms of my trips. I do have a lot of trips and plans in mind. So I have lots of ideas, lots of plans, probably years of trips worths of different and unique experiences. I'm always trying to push the boundary in terms of, okay, well, what hasn't been done? And how can I push myself to do that? And the first and foremost goal is just learning and becoming more skilled. And the content and quality of videos will follow when that is the goal. But I don't really have any desire to push growth. I don't think that's, I mean, I'm just going to follow what has worked for me right now. I didn't plan to become a YouTube partner, for example. But it happened pretty quickly. So I think I set a goal for myself after I had about 200 subscribers, around 180, I think I had. I said, okay, let me try and get to 1,000 in 2 years. I thought that was realistic, but I did it, I think 6 months after that. So it happened organically. So I'm going to continue on that path of just letting things, I go on my trips, I make my videos and I post them. What happens beyond that, it's totally up to that. Um, you know, yeah. So, but as far as like trip plans, I have some like tomorrow's trip. I'm giving you a sneak peek of what it will be. I'm gonna do I've never done this before, so I'm gonna do no fire, no shelter, um, camping on a winter island. So I'm gonna cross the frozen lake, get into the island, and now I haven't decided whether I want to do no shelter or build a shelter. I'm gonna determine that based off the materials available there. But I'm prepared to do no shelter, no fire. No fire I can't really do because the trees are so condensed that I don't want to risk setting the forest on, or not the forest, but I don't want to risk anything to set on fire. So yeah, so that's, I haven't seen that ever done before on YouTube. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna continue things like that. Going to unique nature sites. Like I had a trip where I went to water cave with my brother Ali, and I want to do that in winter now because there's almost no footage of this place in the winter. So that's another trip. So things like that, just very unique adventure experiences.